Alright, now this is Hess's Law Part 2. In Part 1 you saw how to manipulate delta H. Okay, if you change the reaction, what happens to delta H? In Part 2 we're going to see how to find the enthalpy change for a reaction using the individual reactions or the steps to get to the overall reaction. Because remember, Hess said that if you have reaction 1, he said that if you have reaction 1 and reaction 2 and you want to add them together to get the overall reaction, then the delta H for the first reaction and the delta H for the second reaction, we can find the sum of the individual reactions to get the overall enthalpy change, like this. Okay, so if you have reaction 1, reaction 2, how to get the overall reaction. Okay, now sometimes you have to manipulate the reactions a little bit in order to get them to equal the overall reaction. Anyways, let's take a look at this question right here. This question shows that you have the overall reaction, it's here, okay, and they're asking you for the delta H of this overall reaction. So they've given you two reactions here. This is reaction 1 and this is reaction number 2, and you need to make these add up so that they can be like the overall reaction. So I like to write it where it looks like a math problem, like this. S plus O2 gives me SO2, and the delta H for this reaction is minus 297. And I like to keep the arrows together so I can focus on my work. So 2SO2, O2, 2SO3. Okay, I'm just copying the reactions that you see above, okay? And if you add these together, I'm going to get the overall reaction, which is up here. If you add these together, I'm supposed to get this overall reaction, okay? So the overall reaction is 2S plus 3O2 gives me 2SO3. And we want to find the overall delta H of the reaction. Now let's see what we need to do. The first thing you want to always do is check and make sure that what's in the product in the overall reaction is also in the product of the individual reactions. Now you notice here SO3, it's a product, but here SO3 is a reactant. That's a problem. So what you want to do is flip this reaction to make SO3 a product. Okay, so this reaction right here, I want to flip it so that SO3 is a product. All right, so just to make it easier for myself, I'm going to erase it. And I'm going to write it again, but I'll write it in a different color so I can remember that I flipped it. So 2SO2 plus O2 gives me 2SO3. So all I did was I made the reactant a product and the product's reactant. I just flipped it. Now what did you learn before? If you flip the reaction, what should happen to delta H? Should change the sign. So we're going to make this one minus. Okay, very good. Now I have the reactants are on the right side and the products are on the right side. So S is here, S is here, so they're both reactants. O is a reactant, O here is also a reactant, so all of that is good. Okay, now the next thing I want to do, these still don't add up to each other because here in the individual reactions I have SO2 and there's no SO2 in the overall reaction. So I want to get rid of SO2. Now if you notice, I have one SO2 here and I have two SO2s here. Okay, so if I cancel this one, there will still be one SO2 here because one will cancel with only one. So that's not good. So what I want to do is I want to make this one also 2. So I'm going to multiply this whole reaction by 2. So 2S, 2O, 2SO2. Now when I multiply a reaction by a number, I have to multiply the delta H by the same number. Multiply this delta H by 2. That's not very neat. Let me fix that. Times 2. Okay? Okay, now you'll see that here I have 2SO2 and here I have 2SO2. So now I can cancel both of those. Okay, very good. Now let's see if the reactions add up to each other. There's 2S. Okay, here's 2S. That's good. Here's 2O, and here's 1O, that's 3O, that's good. And here's 2SO3, and here's 2SO3, that's good. So now these reactions add up to the overall reaction. Alright, so now all I need to do to get the overall delta H, I just need to add the individual delta H's. So minus 297 times 2 is minus 594 plus 198 is minus 396. Okay, I hope I did that right. So this is the delta H for the overall reaction. Alright, that's our final answer. Alright, let's try another one. There's another question in the notes. I've just chosen one. There's several examples in the notes. I've just chosen another example. Here's example number 3 from the notes. Okay, so try to find, so they want you to find the delta H of reaction. So we want the delta H for this reaction. We don't know it. And these are the individual reactions. Here's reaction 1, here's reaction 2, here's reaction 3. Okay? You want to add all of these together to get the overall reaction. So, like I told you before, I like to write it like a math problem. So I like to put the overall reaction kind of like this, like it's the answer. Okay? And this reaction comes from these individual reactions. So I'm just going to copy them. You should copy them into your notebook. Alright, so like I said before, the first thing you want to check is you want to check that the reactants and the products are on the same side. Okay, so here you have C, and you have C here as a reactant. H, you have H here as a reactant, so that's good. And let's check the products. Here you have C3H8 as a product, but there's no C3H8 as a product here. So C3H8 is here as a reactant. So that's not good. We want to flip the first equation. So in order to flip the first equation, we have to take these reactants and put them as products, and take these products and put them as reactants. So let's rewrite the first equation. Okay, I hit pause for a second and I flipped the reaction myself. Okay, so make sure you notice that I took care of that. So now C3H8 is a product, and here it's a product, all right? Now, anytime you flip a reaction, what should you do with the delta H? You should change the sign. So it's minus, I'm gonna make it plus. Okay, did you see that? I made it plus. All right, now let's check. Is there anything that's here in these reactions that's not in the overall reaction? That's the next thing that we're going to check. So let me see. Is there something here that's not in the overall reaction? There is CO2. There is no CO2 in the overall reaction, and there is CO2 here. Okay, we want to cancel them. Now, this is only one CO2. This is 3. So I want them both to be 3 so I can fully cancel all of the CO2s. So let me change the color. So I'm going to multiply this whole reaction by 3, by 3, by 3. And the delta H, I should also multiply it by 3. Okay, so now I'm going to cancel CO2. I'm going to cancel CO2. Okay, is there anything else here that is not in the overall reaction that I want to cancel? Yes, there's H2O. Okay, H2O also is not in the overall reaction, so I want to get rid of it. So let's see. Here we have 4 H2O, here we have only 2. So this reaction, I'm going to multiply everything by 2, by 2, by 2, and the delta H should also be multiplied by 2. So let me fix this. I'm going to erase this, and I'm going to put 4 H2. Let me erase this, and here I'm going to put 2 O2, and let me erase this, and here I'm going to remove this 2, and I'm going to make it also 4. Okay, so now I can cancel the H2O, cancel the H2O. Okay, let's check. Anything else? Oh, also there's no oxygen here. So you want to cancel the oxygens. So if you notice, here you have 5 oxygens, and here you have 3 and 2, which is 5. So here's 5. That's the oxygens are gone. Okay, I think that's everything. Let's check. 3C, 3C, good. 4H2, 4H2, good. 1C3H8, 1C3H8, good. All right, so now the individual reactions add up to the overall reaction. So how to find the delta H of the overall reactions? You need to add this plus this plus this. Right, so we have 2,043 plus minus 393 times 3 is 1,180.5. Oh, that's not plus. That should be minus. Minus 1,180.5. And then 483 times 2 is minus 966. Minus 966. And you can get the overall delta H for the reaction. I don't have a calculator with me right now, so it's difficult to get the final answer, but please check the notes for the final answer for this delta H reaction. Alright, good luck. Make sure you take notes while you watch the video. Watch again if you need to, and see me with any questions.